Since the Pokemon franchise began, there have been Pokemon who, for whatever reason, don't evolve like so many others, and fans have subsequently hoped, wished, and imagined what evolutions of these Pokemon could potentially look like. Well, today that is exactly what we're going to be doing, giving evolutions to every single Pokemon who currently doesn't have either a standard evolution or a pre-evolution. Since this video is going to be pretty big, I'm also going to be splitting it into two parts, covering the first 4 generations in this video, and then in a second part that will come out a week or so from now, we will cover generations 5 through 8. We will also be considering every type of evolution while doing this, so for example, I might give one Pokemon an evolution, another a pre-evolution, and another a mega evolution depending on what makes the most sense for that Pokemon. These designs I'm going to be showing off are also made by amazing artists who are all linked in the description, and I highly recommend checking them out and showing them some support. And speaking of support, I would also like to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Ridge Wallet, for supporting the channel. Ridge Wallet is essentially a wallet of the future, except that you don't have to wait until the future to be able to get it. It holds 12 cards plus cash, all the while never looking like you have a dictionary overflowing out of your pants pocket. This is something I use every day in my own life, as I obviously have one of my own, and I honestly cannot recommend it enough. Aside from my glowing review though, the Ridge Wallet also has 30,000 additional 5-star reviews. It comes in over 30 colors and styles, so you can find one that fits your style and is your flavor. It's also got RFID blocking technology built in, so you can keep all of your credit card information safe that you carry with you, and it comes with a lifetime warranty, so you're never gonna buy another wallet again, and it even comes with a 45-day money-back guarantee if it ends up not being your thing. You can even get 10% off of your order with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/hoops and entering code HOOPS at checkout. The link for that will be in the description. Thank you so much to Ridge Wallet for sponsoring the channel. Their support really does help me to bring videos like this to all of you guys, so be sure to show them some love and check them out with the link in the description. You will not regret it, I promise you. Okay, so going in Pokédex order, we're starting with Kangaskhan, and this is an interesting case because Kangaskhan already has a pre-evolution essentially, even though it's not official, and a mega evolution, which means it's not going to get a standard Evo anytime soon either. With that said, this design is a concept for an alternate design for Mega Kangaskhan, or you could even consider it an evolution if you wanted. But I absolutely love how it brings in more of the Kangaskhan inspirations into the design, and I personally think it looks way better than the Mega we currently have. So I would have loved for this version of Mega Kangaskhan to be the real thing. Next is Pinsir, and with it already having a Mega Evolution, Pinsir naturally is a candidate for a pre-evolution, and this design here shows what a baby Pinsir could look like. It always seemed like Pinsir got the short end of the stick in this department, even though it did end up getting a Mega, and I would love if baby Pinsir actually happened in the future. For Tauros, it feels like it would be prime for a pre-evolution as well, and many fans have proposed the concept of it receiving a shared pre-evolution along with Miltank, which I think would be really cool, and that's exactly what this baby Pokemon does for both of them. I really like this design a lot, and I think it would be awesome to see Tauros and Miltank officially connected together someday with a Pokemon like this. Following that up is Lapras, and even though a pre-evolution for Lapras would work great as well, this design of a Mega Lapras looks absolutely amazing, and I think it's a prime candidate for the Mega Evolution treatment as well. While it did get a Gigantamax form in Sword and Shield, I think more could still be done with Lapras in the future, so here's hoping that will actually happen at some point. Ditto is a tricky one in this case, because it's probably the one Pokemon in the series that should stay unevolved thanks to its unique situation. However, lucky for us, it actually was going to get an evolution in Pokemon Gold and Silver before it was cut. While still normal type, it was going to evolve from Ditto with the use of a metal coat, which is odd, and it was probably cut due to the fact that Game Freak also realized that an evolution just isn't that necessary for Ditto, but it's awesome to know that it was at least planned at one point. Aerodactyl is up next, and although a pre-evolution for this Pokemon makes the most sense in my opinion, the best design of anything Aerodactyl related that I could find is this design of an alternate Mega Aerodactyl design, which I think looks amazing and, if I must say, is probably better than the official one, which has received some criticism for basically just adding a bunch of rocks onto Aerodactyl's body with not much else going for it. One thing I forgot to mention at the start is that I'm also not including legendary or mythical Pokemon or Ultra Beasts as part of the video, because most of the time they never evolve because they're legendary and aren't meant to, so giving them one, while it might be fun, isn't as realistic. Anyways, with that said, we move on to Gen 2, starting with Unknown, and this design is for a Mega Unknown, and while it might seem a bit unsettling, I think this is the exact kind of thing that would happen to Unknown if it were to receive any kind of evolution, so I think it's a good fit. Girafarig is another Pokemon that was officially going to have a pre-evolution much like Ditto before it was cut, and this is what it looked like. In fact, there was also a second iteration of a Girafarig pre-evolution that was recently discovered that looks much more like Girafarig itself, but was also, unfortunately, cut. Girafarig is a pretty cool Pokemon that also gets overlooked a lot of the time, so it would be cool to see it get some spotlight and possibly have one of these two designs be brought back in a future game. Dunsparce is a very infamous unevolved Pokemon, and it's also one that I have personally given an evolution to myself. Sinnohsparce, as I call it, is an evolution concept that builds upon what is already there for Dunsparce in terms of its physical features, and it becomes a ground flying type, which I think makes a lot of sense for this Pokemon. I can't help but feel like one day we will eventually see a Dunsparce Evo happen officially, so we'll just have to keep waiting patiently for that day to come. Qwilfish is a notoriously forgotten about Pokemon, and it could certainly use an evolution as well. This design takes the subtle naval mine origins of the Pokemon and brings them to the forefront, and I personally think it looks amazing. Qwilfish is probably one of the standalone Pokemon that I personally would most like to see get an evolution of some kind, and if it does, I hope it looks like this. Shuckle is another Johto Pokemon without an evolution, and this design of a Shuckle pre-evolution is just too adorable not to consider. While I do feel like an evolution would actually suit Shuckle better, you can never go wrong with giving any Pokemon an adorable baby form, and this design is a prime example of that. Meanwhile, if Heracross were to ever receive an evolution, it would have to be a pre-evolution since it already has a Mega, but this concept actually gives it a pre-evo and a standard evolution, so we might as well take a look at both. While the baby form is more or less your standard baby Pokemon, which is more than fine because it's adorable, the evolution really beefs it up and looks really awesome too. Thanks to its Mega, I doubt we'll ever get a regular evolution for Heracross, but a pre-evolution is something we can certainly hope for. Delibird is up next, and this design for a pre-evolution I think is amazing. It seems to actually be based on Santa's elves, which as a pre-evolution for the Santa-based Delibird is genius, and I would absolutely love to see this actually happen someday. Skarmory is a Pokemon that seems like it should absolutely receive some kind of special treatment, and this design of a hypothetical Skarmory evolution is pretty dang sweet. I really like the different approach it takes, which is why I selected it, and I think it would make for a great addition to the Skarmory family that I believe is desperately needed. Stantler is another Pokemon who has always felt like it needed something, and to me, a pre-evolution seems like a good fit. This design here shows what that could be like, and I think it would be a much needed addition to give Stantler some much needed love. Smeargle, meanwhile, is a pretty unique Pokemon that will probably never get any kind of evolution thanks to its uniqueness, but if it did, I think this design would be amazing for a standard evolution. It looks awesome, and I think giving Smeargle a little more attention since it is such a unique Pokemon isn't a bad idea, so maybe someday it will happen, and if it did, it'd be great if it looked like this. While we covered the Tauros and Miltank idea already with Tauros' selection, I figured another approach at the concept for Miltanks couldn't hurt either, and this design here is pretty intriguing. Since Tauros and Miltank are pretty different looking Pokemon, I like how this design has a more generic look to it that could go either way, and I'm telling ya, it would be amazing to see this concept, which has been discussed by fans for so long, become the real thing someday. Now we move into Hoenn, starting with Sableye. Since Sableye has a Mega Evolution already, a pre-evolution makes the most sense, and I think this one is just absolutely adorable. I don't know that this one would ever realistically happen, but it could obviously look pretty great if it did. Same thing goes for its counterpart Mawile, and once again, this design shows how a pre-evolution for this Pokemon could actually be pretty cool even if it isn't very likely. Who knows though, crazier things have happened, and maybe baby Mawile will actually happen at some point. For Plusle and Minun, I think a Mega Evolution would be the best way to go, and even though this design I was only able to find for Plusle, I think it would be great for Minun as well, and would make sense to be similar since they already are a pair of Pokemon anyway. Might be a while before we ever see this happen, but the idea of it certainly looks pretty cool regardless. Volbeat and Illumise are also a pair of Pokemon that would naturally have similar looking evolutions, and with Mega Evolution being the best fit in my opinion, this might be what Megas of these two Pokemon could look like. I think these two are underrated honestly, so they could certainly stand for a little more love by receiving an evolution of some kind. Torkoal could honestly go in any direction in terms of an evolution, but this design of a Mega Torkoal I think is pretty fantastic. Torkoal has always seemed like one of those Pokemon where something was going to happen to it, but it just never has for one reason or another. Hopefully though, it becomes a real thing someday. Spinda is yet another Pokemon that I could see never getting an evolution either, but if it did, this design shows what it could possibly look like. I feel like Spinda is a tricky Pokemon to give an evolution to because it is so unique, but this design certainly takes a good crack at it in my opinion. Zangoose and Seviper are yet another pair of Pokemon that act as counterparts to each other, and it seems like a pre-evolution would be the best way to go here. These designs, in my opinion, show that there really is a lot of potential for this idea, and seeing it actually happen, even if the possibility is remote, would be awesome. Because Hoenn seems to have tons of Pokemon that are counterparts, Lunatone and Solrock are another pair of Pokemon that could do with some evolution, and even though Game Freak missed a golden opportunity to make Minior from Gen 7 their shared pre-evolution, because that's literally what it is, a Mega Evolution for these two I think could be cool as well, and these designs show what they could possibly look like. If they didn't make Minior a pre-evolution to these two though, who knows if Lunatone and Solrock will ever get any kind of additional attention. Castform is a Pokemon that probably will never have an evolution either, but this design that gives it one makes a pretty good case that it should receive one. I honestly think Castform is really cool, even though it seems to get berated by the community a lot of the time, so maybe an evolution of some kind is what it needs to really show everyone how awesome it truly is. Kecleon, on the other hand, could stand to use any kind of evolution, and these concepts for a pre-evolution I think make a good fit. I know a lot of people don't like baby Pokemon, but I sure as heck do, and if Kecleon got one, I would love it. Speaking of pre-evolutions I would love, this Tropius pre-evolution I think would be amazing to have as the real thing. Tropius is a prime candidate for this sort of treatment, and although we'd probably have to wait for another tropical region to come around for it to ever happen, I think Tropius should actually be fairly high on the list of Pokemon who should receive a baby Pokemon of their own in the future. Absol could certainly do with a pre-evolution as well, and with a design that could look like this, what are Game Freak waiting for? This baby form of Absol is incredible, and I would really like to see something similar become official someday. Relicanth, meanwhile, is a Pokemon that would probably fit better with a Mega, and this design here shows just how good that could be. There are honestly so many Pokemon that could have amazing Mega Evolutions, which is sort of the point of this video, and this Mega Relicanth concept shows that it is certainly no exception. Since Lovedisk's evolution already exists in Alomomola, but it isn't actually its evolution, I guess the next best route to take would be a Mega, and this design is pretty cool in my opinion. Luvdisc, ironically, is one of the most unloved Pokemon of all time, so giving it some kind of special treatment like a Mega Evolution could go a long way in helping to change some of those negative opinions. Getting into the Sinnoh region now, we're starting with Pachirisu, and Pachirisu is definitely more fitting for a Mega Evolution, I would say, and this design shows what that could look like. It would be awesome to see a regular evolution here too, and since Pikachu itself evolves, why not a Pikachu clone? Either way, this design gives us a glimpse into how that could be, and I think it would be pretty cool. Chatot is a Pokemon that I think is a really good candidate to receive an evolution, and with Diamond and Pearl remakes coming up, I mean, who knows? This design here shows what that could look like if it actually happened, and I think it looks great and shows just how great of a fit Chatot is in terms of receiving an evolution, so hopefully it'll eventually get done. Spiritomb is a Pokemon that will probably never get an evolution thanks to its uniqueness, but it could get a Mega if Megas were to ever come back. And even though this design here is a Gigantamax concept, Gigantamax designs and Mega designs are more or less the same in terms of how they change compared to the base Pokemon, so we're just gonna go ahead and imagine it as a Mega. And boy oh boy does it ever show how awesome a Mega Spiritomb could be. However, if Gigantamaxing makes its way into the Diamond and Pearl remakes, which is possible, keep an eye out for that as well. Carnivine is another Pokemon who just kind of exists and doesn't really offer a whole lot, so it could benefit greatly from some kind of evolution, and I think this pre-evolution design is really great. It would be the perfect kind of thing for Carnivine to receive, and this design shows there's lots of potential there to make baby Carnivine into something really great. And last but not least for this first part of the video is Rotom. Rotom is another Pokemon thanks to its extreme popularity and multiple forms that will probably never get an evolution simply because it doesn't need one. However, if it did, I feel like a Mega Evolution would be best, and this design, which is another Gigantamax concept we're going to pretend is a Mega, is really awesome, and I would love for it to turn out this way if it happened. And there we have it. That covers the first 4 generations of Pokemon who don't have evolutions. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we are also going to cover generations 5 through 8 in a future video that will come out a week or so from now, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned so you don't miss out on that. Also, once again, make sure you check out the artists of all of these designs with the link in the description below because they obviously deserve it, and be sure to check out Ridge Wallet as well with the link in the description, and show them some love for supporting the channel because it really does make a huge difference in bringing videos like this to all of you guys. With that said, I will be back very soon with another video, and until then, as always, I love you guys very much, thank you for watching, and I will smell you guys later.